it is best. So friends, let me introduce Dr. Vijayam Ravi, today's speaker, to all of you. Dr. Ravi is an educational consultant over 4 decades of experience in diverse roles in education as an educationist, administrator, principal, trustee, and the chairperson of firms. She is a PhD in philosophy and educational leadership. Starting with her grassroots beginnings as an educator, Dr. Ravi scaled up in diverse roles across educational institutions. Dr. Ravi has worked across a wide spectrum of education and learning, from developing curriculum and school vision to competency mapping and leadership development for educational institutions. Dr. Ravi has presented several research papers on parenting, higher education, government policies, and science and spirituality. She has won several accolades for her effort, excellence in school administration by Bharat Parishad and the Dr. Radhakrishnan Puruskar by Avanti Trust, to name just a few. Ma'am, I can't sum up what you are in these few words. I would just like to say you are the one who has kindled. Hello. My gratitude for being the 47th Aadharshila at RRIS. Friends, I would not go any further because there is a lot to learn from ma'am. Let us ask ma'am now to take over. Inviting you, Dr. Ravi, the stage is all yours, this virtual stage.
Thank you. Namaste, Jaya. Namaste. Namaste and good evening to each one of you, teachers, principals. Namaskar, Yadnik ji, the Dishmacharya of Bharat Parishad, I would say. It is a pleasure, privilege to be on this virtual platform. And I must congratulate Jaya for 2-3 things. One is that you started this program on time. Number 2 is that such a wonderful topic has been given to me. I would say the last pandemic year had been always for webinars and packed, always several webinars, one after the other. And I must admit that this is the best of all, I would say, because it has kindled so much of interest in me, a passion. It was like a sleeping lion in me. It woke up that lion. So I went into varied researches, reading books, understanding what it is before even I come to the principals and teachers. So thank you very much for that, Jaya. And I know you had been doing great programs in RRIS, and I wish that these kind of programs should go really on and on, so that teachers and principals will be benefited. So as you said, the topic when we discussed and decided the title, we said Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat on the canvas of the school. So whatever said and done, we can speak, NEP can say 100 things. But unless and otherwise that is realized on the school canvas, then there is no meaning in that. So I am trying to give you some inputs towards that. But before that, I wanted to say, before even I drive you home through the presentations, I wanted to give you some introduction. I come from a very remote village of Kerala, learned Malayalam, and we had 3 languages to learn compulsorily. Sanskrit was one of that. For 13 years, I learned Sanskrit. And the beauty of it, when I was doing my BSc, Sanskrit was a paper we had to do, and history of Sanskrit literature was one of the main papers we had to do.
Your voice is breaking in between.
Okay. I don't know. I have no problem with your connection. It is okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah,
So,
able to hear.
yeah.
Sometimes it just
So I had to do a paper on history of Sanskrit literature, one paper, full paper. And that was something more or less like a research paper. And so much we could learn how much of importance Sanskrit has in this country. It's coming up as one of the oldest civilizations in the world. That is number one I wanted to say. So I believe in whatever I'm going to say. It is not for the sake of a talk that I'm saying, because I believe in it, and so I pass on the message to you. Number two is that when we were all children, students, and even some schools today, some of the schools, we do make our children say an oath, isn't it? And that oath is like what? It is something like, India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. I am proud of its rich and varied heritage. I love my parents. I respect my teachers. All that we had been given to speak. Even most of us remember that, isn't it? We do remember. Today, I don't know how many schools have got that kind of a oath taking. We used to say like this, holding our palm on the chest, or holding the hand like this. We used to say that. So I am proud of its rich, important sentences that goes very well with Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat. And that is what NEP has rekindled through its policy. Number two. Number three, we speak about Swami Vivekananda, because any of our talk goes incomplete if we do not talk about Swami Vivekananda, the social reformer for our country, the saint. He went to the US, the Chicago address, you all know. We make our children also, for elocution competition, we give that speech for the children to speak out, correct? Brothers and sisters of America. That is how he starts. While the others were talking about ladies and gentlemen, he started brothers and sisters of America. Only Indians can say that. Only Indians can say that. So with so much of a rich heritage with us, why is it that we, most of us, including the so-called me, why do we want a certification from a European country or Western civilization to say that we are great? This is a simple question all of us need to answer. So this Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat, knowingly or unknowingly, this had been included into the NEP. I consider it as a revival of our cultural heritage and getting back India once again together. India has a rich heritage. Let's start the presentation. Amitji, could you just show the presentation, please? Ji. Yeah. Yeah. Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. This is our incredible India. So many languages, 22 official languages we have, and more than some 16,000 and odd other mother tongues spoken across the country. Several culture, diverse culture we have. Okay, incredible India. Languages, religions. We have about 6 major religions that are practiced in our country. We coexist on the simple principles of love, truth, and tolerance. Those are the universal values that India has given to the world through our civilization. This is our India. The next slide, please. Yeah. As I said, we need a certification from the Europeans for all that we do. Okay, let me start with that certification itself. This is our Voltaire, the French historian. He says, whatever humanity has today has come from the banks of Ganga. People from olden Greece and Rome have traveled to India only to learn. This is said by not by an Indian, but a French philosopher, a historian. Most of the histories we have learned, I would say people may not fully agree with me, but I am making a bold statement, were distorted. The history, to a large extent, which was taught to us, were distorted by people who had a Western affiliation and who wanted certification from the other countries for anything that we do. Those people, those pseudo-secular people, have written the histories in India. And the winners only make the history, so they do it. And people like in India, we do not quarrel with people for our authority. We know if people are talking like that, let them talk. Let them talk. You know, we have that kind of a compassion, or a, what do you call that? In Sanskrit, if I say sahishnuta, we have that kind of an acceptance for all of them. Okay, next, please. If this is Voltaire, here comes our Albert Einstein. Einstein, who propounded the great theory of relativity, E is equal to mc square. He is saying, when I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous. We owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made. This is said by Albert Einstein, not from India. So we can believe him. And there is a book which I would want you all to read. There's a dialogue with Albert Einstein. The first few pages, he would talk about Shankara. He talks about Advaita philosophy, how the Advaita philosophy helped them arrive at that E is equal to mc square. These things are not known to our kids.
Ma'am, I didn't know it myself. That
lots of it. E is equal to energy, m is mass, c is the velocity, the space, entire space encompassing the space. That's what he has been speaking, and the uniqueness and oneness of everything. Let us go again to another person, an English person. The next slide, please. We have George Bernard Shaw, the English person, the Irish dramatist. Okay, the Indian way of life provides the vision of the natural, real way of life. We veil ourselves with unnatural masks. On the face of India are the tender expressions which carry the mark of the Creator's land. So, what more do we need if people like that, they are carrying out with their own statement the illustrious past of our country. But these things, these are all historians and philosophers of the world, very well known, even scientists of the world talking about India. Still, our own schools, our own people, our own learned people, the so-called educated people refuse to accept that India has a rich past and we belong to India. We have heard, whenever we go across the country, people will say, oh, I am a Gujarati, I am a Marwadi, I am a Madrasi, I am a Malayali, I am a Bengali, I am so and so. But we have not heard anyone saying, I am an Indian. But when we move out of our country, if we see a Punjabi with the thing on his head, and then if we see, turban on his head, and the other people around, we feel so there is going an Indian. We are so happy to see him. We call him as an Indian. So outside our country, we are proud to say we are Indians, but inside our country, we split ourselves into region, language, culture. How sad. This NEP statement should remove that kind of a differentiation from the culture of our country. The main intention of NEP is to bring the people together to say that we are Indians. That is what today's talk is going to be. Let's go to the next one. You know, countries are bound by a geography. You have a geography. You know, the Neil Armstrong, when he went to the moon first, somebody asked him, I believe, how do you find the world world when you were up there? So he said, I didn't see any barrier between countries to countries. It was all one and the same. This is exactly what Buddha also has said. The world is one. When you see from here, if you have a balcony view of things, you will be able to see the world as one, not as a land or as a geography. But countries are usually bound by geographies, and people fight for the land of somebody else. I don't have to tell you who fight for our land. It is known. We have people and demographies. The culture of the people, the occupation of the people, what they do, how they do, all that stand for the demography. The culture, what is their way of living, how do they, their food habits, the behavioral patterns, the cultural entertainment, their festivals, etc. The religion and faith. People, we follow several religions, and we have tremendous respect for all religion. See, all of you sitting in this platform today, we come from different faiths. We have no problem in coexistence. Who has a problem? Some people outside our periphery, outside our classrooms have some problem. Why do we allow, as teachers and educators, why do we allow those people to intervene into the system of beliefs, into the schools, and split people? Languages. We speak several languages, but still we are one. If you see the festivals, several festivals in the, India is a land of festivals. We have to accept that. January onwards, it starts. The festival starts. The kite flying, you have a Pongal, you have a Bihu, you have a so many Lodi. All those festivals are there. All right. So we celebrate festivals. We come together. We have a cultural unity in our country. The next slide, please. Why is our country called Bharatam? This is something we need to remember. Bharata is the official Sanskrit name of our country. Bharata Ghana Rajya. That is how it is called. The Sanskrit word Bharata describes Agni, fire. This term has the Sanskrit root br. Br means to carry, to bear, to be maintained. That is of fire, to be maintained of fire. One who is engaged in the search of knowledge. So Bharata is one which is engaged in the search of knowledge. Who said we are an old-fashioned people? When some people across the south say today that Sanskrit is a dead language, I only pity them. I can only pity them because they don't know what they are talking. Okay, and this is written by not by Indians. This is from the Harvard Education's library. That is talking about it. The next, please. I am going to call this Bharatam as Vishwa Janani Bharatam. Janani, you know, is Mata, mother, from whom the birth has taken place. Vishwa means the world. Bharatam is Vishwa Janani, the mother of the world. How? We will see it one by one. the glorious Vedic period. We had a Vedic period, but if you see our history, most of the history textbooks start teaching the children only after Mughal invasion. If you see the textbooks, you can see history. They start teaching only after the invasions. Before that, India had a past. Why are we not talking about it? So as a school, I had told my teachers, you need to go back to the history, talk to the schools, talk to the children, that there had been a brilliant past for this country. So we need to talk to the children about the Vedic period, how people lived, women, there was no gender disparity at all. There was no gender disparity at all. The ladies were talking about participating in debate, Tarka Shastra, equal to men. When did India separate women from men? Never. We have never done. But today we are talking so great about other countries, but bad about our countries. Because some kind of a wrong information has been passed on to our kids. Multiculturalism, we have several cultures. I told you, several religions, so several cultures, several languages spoken. So diversity in languages and culture and faith, this is what India is all about. If you look at the other countries, for a fraction of a second, you can understand that there is no other country which has so many religions being practiced, so many languages spoken, so much of diversity in culture. All those countries would be either participating with one religion or one faith and one language, unlike India. You know, though, so this is a reason why we have to call India as Vishwajanani Bharatam. It is a land of philosophy and unit. All the Shad Darshanas have originated from India, much, much, much before Greece and Rome. The European culture, much before the European culture. Science and math had their own things, started much before all the Western civilization came in. Classical languages existed in India, the Nalanda and Takshila and all that. Oldest civilization, India is the oldest civilization. Cultural dimensions we had. So with all these background, we can very well say that India is Vishwa Janani. So we as schools, we have a responsibility to tell our children that India is one. India is the mother of all philosophy, science, math, civilization, all. Next, please. Vivekananda Sahitya Sarvaswam. This is a book which I researched. And in chapter 3, he says, Vivekananda says, when there was no Greece, when there was no Rome in the anvil of thoughts, when the ancestors of today's Europeans wandered like nomads in the forests, our country, Bharatam, was in action and prosperity in its civilization, in its thinking and inclusivity. From then on, Bharatam has given its thoughts, ideas, and science to the world and its development. This is a published document available in the public domain. Okay, next please. Story of Civilization by William Durant. Will Durant, people say normally. He is an American, he and his wife, they are historians. Okay, he says, he has written in the first part on Story of Civilization is the book written by him, available in the public domain. First part on cultural heritage. He's saying Bharatam is our motherland. And who is he? He is from US. And Sanskrit is the mother of all European languages. Bharatam, sorry? Bharatam is the mother of all philosophical knowledge, mother of mathematics, mother of all religions, and its governance system in olden times give us details on villages, community, administration, self-reliant governing systems, democracy, and hence Bharatam is our Janani, mother. Like Chanakya's Arthashastra, there has never been a written book on economics and administration. We don't teach our children any of these people. We don't talk about Aryabhatta. We don't talk about Kanada. We talk about Dalton's theory of atom. As the person who found out atom, it was Kanada. He spoke about the Anu Siddhanta. So the next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah.
The word Parmanu for atom was coined by
Exactly, Kanada. Okay. Now, and that Anu is also the root for our Advaita philosophy. We are just like that. We are small, so small, insignificant people, but we become part of the whole universe, the Brahma. You know, that's what it's all about. Now, multilingualism as in NEP. Now, the NEP is talking to you about, it's very interesting and important. Why NEP is talking about multilingualism. You have the draft with you, all of you. And the draft has page number 14 of the draft. You have 4.16, fourth chapter, 16th paragraph. It is talking from grade 6 to 8. Okay, under Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat initiative. In this, you have to do projects and activity where the children will learn the remarkable unity of most of the major Indian languages. So they are talking about that. And in the next paragraph, they are talking about the importance of Sanskrit as the classical language from which the root of many other languages have generated. So that also they are talking about, and they are talking, they are stating that they are requesting the school heads to include Sanskrit as a language in the schools if they don't have. Okay, so classical languages they are talking about, and cultural exchange also they are talking about, because exchange, culture is based on languages. So language exchange is also equally important, and they are talking about the most important languages of the country, like, you know, classical languages like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia, Bengali. You know, the top languages that are spoken today in our country is actually, you know, three of them: Hindi, Bengali, and Marathi. Why did it disappear? Oh, you are showing the page. Okay, okay. Very good. Thank you, Amit. That was brilliant. Okay. The top languages today spoken in the country are three: Bengali, Hindi, and Marathi. Okay. But there are other classical languages across the country. And the government asked the schools to offer the languages which are possible. If you don't have language teachers, try to acquire them at least as part-time teachers to do these kind of learning, language learning. And they also, India doesn't only talk about teaching only Indian languages. They are also talking, there are several other foreign classical languages like Korean, Japanese, Thai, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian. They are also saying, give opportunities for our children to teach that as well. Thank you, Amit. That was brilliant, actually. Okay, so this is what NEP is talking to you about the multilingualism. Let's go to the slide, please. It is also saying this because we have to celebrate our diversity. Next slide, please. I'm going to either this, you have to make it a little enlarged one, otherwise I won't be able to read. Anyway, let me tell you, influence of Sanskrit on other languages. This we have to say. The roots are all from Sanskrit. You will be really surprised to see most of the words have come from Sanskrit word. Okay. The first word, let us say matru. Matru is the root for mother. Okay. And it comes from Sanskrit. Matu pujayadam mativa mati garbo asyamba. It just means that the Janani takes care. She carries the child in her womb. She is worthy of worship. Okay. Matru means that. Pujayati, that's what it means. Worshipping. Worthy of worship. Okay. And in English, it is called mother. And Pitra is supposed to be the person who takes care of all. It is the root, Pita. Papa, we call it in English. Pope, we call. Okay. And he is supposed to be taking care of the family. He's supposed to be taking care of the land, the zameen, property, etc., etc. That is how he is a caretaker of the society. That is why he is called Papa. Okay. Next one, you have Musha. Thank you very much. Musha means something which steals. And we have mouse in English. Computer language, it is mouse. Mouse, we know it steals, isn't it? Mushika. Mushika Vahana. We have that Mushika, right? Now we have Lingam. Actually, Leenam Gamayati Idi Lingam. That is a Sanskrit word. Leenam Gamayati Idi Lingam, which means something which holds into it the implicit meaning. And that is language. Lingam is language. You have Akrish. Akrish is attract in English. Okay. Then Bhiksha, begging in English. Then Alayam. Alayam is actually a place where you stay. Asylum. Okay. Then Anta is end. Okay. Bala. Able. Bala is a Sanskrit root. Able is the English word. Aksha. We have cone. No, aksha means cone, the angle. Axis. Aksha is axis. Then we have Brahmam, okay, which is called Abraham. Brahmam, Abraham, okay. And we have Nava, 9. We have Laksham, lack. We have Prajani, progeny in English. Sunu, in Sanskrit, you have sun. You have Sapta. In Sanskrit, you have 7 in English. You have Danava, demon. You have Nama, name. Navika, navel. Taru, tree. Sarpa, serpent. Okay. Supara, supreme. Then stabala, stable. Tanu, thin. Okay. Gurukulam, curriculum. Okay. Then trikonamiti, trigonometry. Okay. We have panchakon, pentagon. We have chandanam, sandal. We have danta, dental. We have mishrita, mixture. We have jna. Jna means no, gnostic. Then we have martya, mortal. We have prasida, please. Okay. We have prarthana, prayer. We have samanama, synonym. We have padasthala, pedestal. We also have hermium, home. We have hora, our. We have lepanam, label. We have prasada, palace. We have hrid, heart. So how can you say that Sanskrit is not the language? Sanskrit is the language, the mother of all languages. It has originated from Sanskrit. I just gave you a few illustrations. If you want to talk about this, you need more than quite a few hours. Okay. Next, please. On the school canvas, what will you do? If you have to talk multilingualism and to teach the children Shrestha Bharat, Ek Bharat, if that's what you want to teach, you have to promote learning Sanskrit. You have to provide at least 2 periods between standard 5 and 8, 2 periods a week, if you are able to give in your regular schedule, not as an option. If all children can learn that, irrespective of their religion or belief, because this is not about religion, it is about India. Okay, 2 periods if you can give, that would be lovely. And every week, school principals usually attend the school assemblies and they give some kind of a communication to the children. So if the principals or senior teachers or anyone can talk 5 minutes in the open assembly about something on how India has contributed towards philosophy, culture, language, etc., and talk about all religions in this country, not about one religion, all religions that are followed in the country and the commonness in all religion, the universal brotherhood that everyone is talking about, that has to be brought out by the staff or anyone of that caliber to the kids. Then school programs can include at least one item that talks about India. I know you have programs like, we don't call it anymore school annual day, we call it something else. I don't know, some English name is there for that. And we talk about Shakespeare, we show his concert. Thank you, Jaya. Thanks for that. We don't call it anymore annual day. People call it as concert. No problem. Concert is not for Shakespeare alone. Concert could be on a Kalidasa. Concert could also be on a Banabhatta. Concert could also be on an Aryabhatta. So, you can include any one small program into the system. What is happening is that thereby, through the children who enact that or speak that or sing that and give the message to the parents, you are getting a group of people together to understand about India. So please do think about it. A homework can be given to the parents and kids. This is something interesting. Like, trying to ask the parents to sit with the children to find their family lineage, and trace it back to at least 500 years back. Who were their ancestors and what language? Sorry, what happened? Is it something else is being presented? Yeah.
Yes, Yagnikji, I think by mistake you have presented your screen. Yagnikji, please stop presenting. Yes, yeah. It's back.
So, what I was saying is that the parents can find out, trace it back to at least 500 years of their own family and lineage and find out who were their ancestors. Many of us do not. Worst to worst, their parents ka naam rehta hai. Uske aage, we don't know the Pitra line, lineage, or Matra lineage, we do not know. If we work a little bit more on that, a family tree could be made by the parents and we could trace back to say what were they doing, what was their culture, what language were they speaking. All that could be an interesting project for the parents as well as the student. It's a community activity that you are doing, meaning to say schools are not teaching children alone. You are teaching the parents also. A family time in the school is essential, extremely important. Then school project on cultures of India. Different cultures are there. Why not we bring them all together? Take a culture for a week or a month. Talk about that, live that culture without, irrespective of the religious practices. Every religion is beautiful. And tolerance, love, truth, tolerance is our value. We can live our religion. We have to learn to respect other religion. That is what we need to teach our children. So that culture needs to be taught to our children. Then school projects can be on languages. You know, the common words, sentences that are used today by them, trying to find out how it is represented in other language. Like we say good morning, we say namaste. The culture of namaste was Indian. During pandemic, instead of a hugging and a good morning on the handshake, we learned to go back to our culture, namaste. Namaha te. I prostrate before you. I respect you, which means what? There cannot be any other greater principles than me. I see me in you. You are worthy of worship. I am saying Namahate. I am prostrating before you. Which language can give most beautiful word like this other than India? So teach to the children those kind of words which they're equivalent in both an Indian language, both other languages as well. Tamil people say vanakkam. They also say like this only, folding their hands, isn't it? Malayalam people say vandanam. It is one of the toughest language of all the 22 languages. The most toughest language of India is Malayalam. Malayalam has originated from Sanskrit. Therefore, the people who talk Malayalam, their, what do you call that, Ucharana Shuddhi in the language is very great. It's good. I'm not talking about the Western language. I'm talking about the Indian languages. They speak very well. And school project can be on languages of India. You can give a project on that. You can give philosophies of India. School project can be contributions of India to the world in science and math. These could become the activities which the school can paint in their canvas. It is not about, let me repeatedly say, this is not about Hinduism. This is about being an Indian. Beyond language, beyond religion, beyond culture, we are one. This is what we need to teach our children when we talk about Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. Let us say, what is the, where is it? Can you show the next slide, please? Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake here. Sorry. Can you show this? Where is it? I'm not able to see. Oh,
the next one.
I know. I am not seeing. Okay,
Yes,
let me see. Yes, got it. The next one. We have also been speaking about school clusters. The other day, I was also giving a talk on school clusters and school complexes. And there I was talking about Samajik Chetana Kendra. This is one of the greatest opportunities for schools to come together, can use the school clusters as in NEP for propagating the cultural unity of our country. A program by incorporating all the children to highlight the culture of India, the unity of India, the knowledge about art, literature, etc., to share that. This Samajik Chetna Kendra could be one of the areas which the schools can explore. This is what I wanted to say. And the next, please. Few books you can own in your library. This would help you tremendously. Aryabhatiyam is a Sanskrit book, but the English translation, if it is available, you can try to get that. History of Western Philosophy by Bertrand Russell. Dead Sea Scrolls, edited by Herschel Shanker. Very, very important book, which talks about the oldest of all the civilizations, how India has contributed. Then Gnosis by Kurt Rudolph. And then History of Civilization by Will Durant. Indian Chronology by Dr. Triveda. World Vedic Heritage by P.N. Oak. The Vision of India by Shishir Kumar Mitra. You have Glimpses from Our Glorious Past by Swami Sakhyananda. You have Orpheus, A History of Religions by Salon Renat. You know, this Orpheus is the greatest god of the Greek. You might have read about him, Orpheus, but he doesn't belong to Greek. Even today, the philosophers and historians have not settled from where he is. Some research says that he is another avatar of Sri Krishna. We don't know. Orpheus has brought out illustrious past. You know, it has actually been the philosophies, Western civilization, if you take the Western civilization, the birthplace is Greece, okay? The oldest civilization is Greece. There were few philosophies. Pythagoras, a mathematician, and he's a philosopher. He also speaks about India. Then you have, it is supposed that Pythagoras is the son of the god Apollo in Greek philosophy. I mean, that's what they say, we don't know. And Socrates. And Socrates very much goes in line with Shankara, Adi Shankara, the philosophy of Shankara. And Plato, Aristotle, then Plotinus, and Russell says all of these people have been contributing the presence of Greece civilization to Indian origin. So it is very interesting if you ask your children to open their eyes. You know, we were all made to sleep by some distorted historians. Let us wake up. Some people have woken up. Some others are still sleeping. Let us wake them up. Let our children grow up as human beings. And they should never hesitate wherever they go to say that they are Indians, not Malayalis or Gujaratis or whatever. They are Indians. And they have to be proud about their country. And that is Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. The last slide, please. There is only one India, and that India is great. And there is only one India. Religions are there, languages are there, cultures are different, diverse languages spoken, but we all live. When any kind of a turmoil happens, or a calamity happens, or a mishap occurs, we all are together. We don't see, are you a Muslim, are you a Christian, whether I have to help you or not. Nobody looks there. We just go in with love, compassion, and that's what we are. So let us boldly, we are emotional people. Indians are emotional people, unlike the Western civilization. We show emotions. Let us show emotions. There's nothing wrong about it. So let us help our children to show emotions of compassion, love, truth, tolerance. And you teachers out there, you have great responsibility. Believe that you are an Indian, believe in India, And if you believe in India, if you believe in what you are doing, your children will start believing in what they learn. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you,
Thank
Jaya.
you, ma'am. Salute to you for bringing us from the time India has been teaching to the world right from the times immemorial. Though the kind of history we have learned or our children are learning is not highlighting that glorious past. Like you said, history has been written by the winners, and it's their thought process that they would want to pass on from one generation to another. The moment ma'am said you have huge responsibility to explore that real history, to learn about it and bring it down to our children. And to do it, the government of India through NEP has given us that channel to have this Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat initiative, turn it into a big success by not only just bring out that history, but preserve it, preserve the rich, diverse culture, the heritage, which comes in the form of its arts, its literature, languages. There is, I mean, ma'am, when you were saying, I had goosebumps just imagining how lucky we are, how fortunate we are. The people all over the world, from scientists to philosophers to mathematicians to everyone who has looked up to India and has credited India for some most basic but the most advanced of the discoveries and innovations. So we belong to this great land. Ma'am, thank you for
Thank
reigniting
you so much.
the Indian in all of us today. I would, in case if I have to summarize, I would simply say this talk was very much in lines with the objectives of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat. It was a dream from 2015 that our Prime Minister PM Modi said Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat initiative has been thought of with an objective to celebrate the unity and diversity of our nation and to maintain and strengthen the fabric of traditionally existing emotional bonds between the people of our country. Ma'am spoke about it, how it is to be acknowledged and it is to be celebrated. It also has the objective to promote the spirit of national integration through a deep and structured engagement between all the states and union territories, etc. I would say ma'am spoke about how to make it alive, come alive on the school canvas and between schools through school clusters will definitely promote that spirit of national integration, ma'am. It was also about showcasing the rich heritage and culture and customs and traditions of this great country and to foster the love and appreciation for the diversity that India is, and to establish long-term engagements with people. When ma'am said about small things, little things like, knowing how to greet people in different parts of the country, it's about a little namaste, it's about a little vanakkam, it's just one word, but the barriers it breaks and helps, building long-term relationships, it truly is effective. And to create an environment which promotes learning between people, sharing best practices and experiences. So again, that is possible by the staff who come from different regions, different mother tongues, different religious backgrounds, can make it possible by creating such a unified, though diverse environment. And between schools through clusters, we can make it possible. I think, ma'am, the talk, the objective of your talk were very much in sync with the objective of the Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat initiative.
Thank you so
It was
much.
absolutely a
Thank you
delight
so much.
you have given ideas which would lead to many more ideas of making this a success. We are going to take this up from this very first year and not just for the secondary grades as they are.
Yes, 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 yes.
So very
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. All the
thank
best
you.
to
We'll
all of you.
form a
Okay?
little
God bless.
thank you video for ma'am. And meanwhile, if there are any questions,
Yes.
participants, you may type in the chat box so that I can call out your names. There is one tip which I would like to give for teachers who are from different other schools, because this is what we have also been speaking within our school when we have class assemblies and we think of a storyline based on some theme. Why don't we also see to it that different assemblies are shown in a different cultural or geographical or religious setting. So suppose the same story, whatever you have planned, show it set in Bhatinda. Show the girl, whoever is your main character, showing a dish that she relishes, participating in a dance, like Gita or a Bhangra. So, it's up to us to find those avenues. I hope, ma'am, you are able to see the presentation.
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much. Great, Jaya. Wish you one more such wonderful session from such other good souls.
And
Thank
we
you.
have some of the